Hi guys, Ben Carpenter here. In this video I'm going to discuss the fundamentals of putting on muscle mass. A lot of my videos are looking at, say, research reviews, and they're slightly nerdy, picking one topic and dissecting it. This is going to be the exact opposite. This is going to be something that beginners can look at and learn the things that they should be doing straight off the bat. It's also things that people that have been in the game for a long time might have to go back and revise some of the things they're doing. It's the most important lessons that you need to be aware of when you're looking at adding muscle tissue. This is the stuff that I myself will implement for me, for clients, the stuff that is absolutely imperative that you get right. So, lesson number one, adequate protein intake. Protein intake, the research out there is very mixed. People will compare two protocols. The one that gets the best results will be the one that some people will cite as research. However, when you look at all of the research studies out there, it will be impossible to draw that single study as a conclusion. So for ages, 2 grams per kilo of body weight was something that was a general rule of thumb for bodybuilders. Then 2.5 to 3 grams was suggested in one study. Honestly, there's no black and white on this. You'd think that the best people in the world could come up with a single answer for it, but every time a new piece of research comes out, they're forced to revise. So protein intake will depend on overall caloric intake. For example, if someone's dieting, their need for protein will go up to hold on to muscle tissue. The composition of the rest of their diet, how much fat-free mass they have, what their overall activity levels are, obviously their overall caloric expenditure. There are so many factors that go into this. It's absolutely impossible to draw a specific conclusion for someone. So I like to take the kind of upper limit of protein intake, because I prefer someone to overshoot protein slightly than undershoot protein slightly. So I'll take 3 grams per kilo as the upper limit of someone that's looking at putting on muscle tissue. In recent research by Eric Helms, he said in hypo-caloric situations where people were dieting, he recommended 2.3 to 3.1 grams per kilo of body weight. Again, depending on how lean someone is and how big the caloric deficit is while they're dieting. This video is about people that are adding muscle tissue, so in a caloric surplus, so that research won't strictly apply. So I'm going to say 3 grams per kilo of body weight, just because I have to put something out there to stop loads of people sending me comments and questions. Will I revise this at some point? Probably. Is it definitively correct? Absolutely not. You can try and pick it apart if you want, but for the moment just take that as something that's easy enough for someone to take as a conclusion from the video. Lesson number 2 is caloric intake. So if your protein intake is adequate, however your overall caloric intake is still too low, then adding weight and adding muscle tissue is going to be harder. In people that are new to the gym, they will find it easier to put on muscle tissue than advanced trainees. But for advanced trainees, you have to make sure that both of these are absolutely on point. So adequate protein intake, adequate caloric intake. Number 3 for me is weight training. When I say weight training, I am going to specify that it is progressive weight training. Look around the gym next time you train and see how many people are keeping a training log. Most people in the gym aren't. A training log for me is an essential tool for someone to be able to assess their progress. So I could look back to a workout I did 4 months ago, see how much weight I was lifting, what reps, what sets. You can see when you plateau. You can see when your routine needs changing. You can see how many sets per body part you can do before fatigue starts creeping in and your reps drop. Little things like that which allow you to fine-tune your routine. The massive upside, or one of the massive upsides to this, is that you can look at last week's workout. you can say, I did 100 kilos on the bench press for 3 sets of 10 or whatever, just as an easy example. And from that you can gauge what you have to beat this time. So you have to be providing your body with an adequate stimulus to keep putting on muscle tissue. It's no good to do the same thing every time you're hitting the gym or every time you're hitting a chest workout. There are loads of people that use the same weight, the same reps, the same sets, same exercises when they're doing chest workout and wonder why they're not getting stronger, not getting a bigger chest, not putting on weight. So a training log for me is a valuable tool that allows you to assess that your training is being progressive and that you're giving your body a stimulus to adapt to create a hypertrophy response from. The fourth point for me, and the last fundamental point, is consistency. You have an adequate protein intake, you have an adequate caloric intake, you have a progressive weight training routine. The important thing is tying these together in something that you're actually going to stick with. You would be amazed how many people say to me, oh, I was making really good results in the gym and then I seem to struggle. And within 30 seconds, when I ask how many times they go to the gym, they say, well, I've had a couple of weeks where I haven't been to the gym very much, or I've had a couple of weeks where I haven't been eating very much, or just something which shows that their consistency has tapered off. Be honest with yourself. If you think you've hit a plateau, are you still working hard in the gym? Are you still eating adequately? Are you still doing all these fundamental things that you were doing when you were making progress? In a lot of cases, people aren't. And that's the level of consistency I mean. In my opinion, one of the things which separates the people that are really successful in terms of, say, fitness models or bodybuilders is not that they've got these kind of secrets that they're not telling other people. I tell people the research that I'm aware of. I'm not hiding secrets and keeping them to myself. What the difference is that a lot of people are lacking a level of consistency. So look at the top bodybuilders and see how many workouts they miss. It's not going to be a lot. See how many times they have a few days of crap eating where they say, I just really didn't eat much protein over the last week. It's not going to be a lot. These people are going to be more consistent than your average Joe. It's the same journey for fitness models and bodybuilders that it is a beginner, but they're just further along the road of doing the same behavioural practices day in, day out. And that's why consistency is, to me, one of the most important things. So, those are my 4 fundamental lessons. This is going to be the video that I refer people to every time I get a question asking about a bicep drop set for people that are only going to the gym twice a week, or every time I get a question from someone asking what supplements to help lose fat when they've got no idea how much protein they're eating. All the people that are overshooting and asking more advanced questions that they just don't need to be looking at yet. You have to get the fundamentals in place to take care of the majority of your results. Once you've got these 4 in place, then of course look at advanced training methodologies and ways of tweaking your diet to get better results. That's absolutely fine. Just for me, this is the important stuff which is often overlooked. So I hope you found it helpful. If you've got any questions, please post them on my Facebook page, which is Ben Carpenter Personal Training. And stay tuned for the next video. Thank you very much.